So this past NBA draft was filled with an uncomfortable amount of uncertainty. Or really was it? Actually, not at all. That's just how every NBA draft is, because you never know how each and every single player is going to turn out in the NBA. You can throw out good guesses and hints, but in reality, bro, I'm sorry to say, but we just don't know nothing. And because we never know, bro, it's just human nature. We just go ahead and start to jump into conclusions before these rookies are able to go ahead and display all their talents out there on the court that we can all indulge in. And so far, I have figured out that there are so many disturbing things, disturbing assumptions, just flat out lies told about this past 2020 NBA draft. And I'm not gonna cap, I fell into the trap and continue to spread the propaganda that these mindless cockroaches of NBA scouts these days who do these type of things for a living. This is pretty much me admitting to my woes, bro. I just sit down in my room and vent to myself all day about basketball. That's crazy. And correcting them and saying that I definitely did overreact to certain things that probably shouldn't have gotten much of a reaction to me in the first place. Let's get into specifics right now, boys. I'll be referring and going back and forth to so many things. But before I go ahead and do that, if you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, of course go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Or else. Or else nothing. I don't really have any repercussions, but just go ahead and do that for me. Thanks. NBA draft classes are only as strong as the leaders of them are. True or false? I'll leave that question up to you to answer, and at the end of this video, I'll go ahead and give my opinion on it. This draft class was said to be relatively weak compared to last year's draft class, and a lot of people, because of that, just hit the snooze button and automatically did not think much of these rookies in the first place. Some scouts saw a few potential all-stars, but outside of that, scouts weren't too high on it. And for some weird reason, whenever scouts mentioned this in particular draft class, they often associated next year's draft class too. I hope I'm not the only one, but have y'all ever had that teacher back in the day, like back when we were in elementary, middle school, or high school, or if you're in that, I'm sure you've had a teacher like this before. A teacher who's purposely made you skip a chapter or a couple lessons that you were supposed to learn, even though it was at least a semi-important one. Yeah, people are basically doing that with this NBA draft class, mainly because though, there were so many disturbing lies told about this class, which turned a lot of people off. Sadly, one of the most targeted prospects coming out of this draft class was Anthony Edwards. This man had everything that any dusty, musty, and crusty, and disgustingly pitiful organization would ever want from a prospect. A young, athletic, strong star with flash and just an aura that just gravitates happiness, pure happiness, and good vibes and fun. That's Ant-Man. Now I knew this and scouts knew this. Anthony Edwards was going to be a work in progress. Bro, you can't name many young guards in the NBA today or coming into the NBA very soon who are score first and don't have shot selection issues. One of my favorite players in the NBA and the star of my organization, Trae Young, still has that issue, just be shooting the most wildest shots that make me pull out my hair, if I had any at least. Luka Doncic takes a lot of threes that he probably shouldn't be taking. And it just so happens to be that Anthony Edwards takes a lot of shots that these draft nerds and these NBA analytics do to just despise, and those are long twos. Instead of long twos, you could take a step back and shoot a three or whatever, or maybe even better, get to the rack and use his big body to his advantage. Shot selection and just really IQ in general is what a lot of people were worried about. Nobody dared to question his skill because of how quick his first step was, bro. It'd give you chills. I'm so nice. Because of that, and also an article that came out about him 48 hours before he got drafted, he was steadily called the next Andrew Wiggins. Fans started thinking twice about how good Anthony Edwards would be in the NBA, simply because he liked to rap like Lil Baby. And I'm not gonna lie, that is still hilarious to this day, but that's just Anthony Edwards. He's just a funny player. But to attach Anthony Edwards to Andrew Wiggins before he even got a chance to make those rumors false was out of line. A lot of people on YouTube and just like in the NBA world in general act like Anthony Edwards was hyped up as Andrew Wiggins. Bro, nobody, I don't know a single soul who called Anthony Edwards the next LeBron James, the next Kobe Bryant, and this the next man up to have hits. Like, no. As far as I'm concerned, people was calling that man the next Victor Oladipo. There's levels to this. People just hopped on this train without putting much thought into it. The first thing I want to mention is that this wasn't a thing until the Wolves hinted towards taking Anthony Edwards #1 overall. Secondly, his love for other things in life other than hoops like rapping and football shouldn't have scared anyone away. Do y'all forget that the best players in the NBA today have the same exact passion? Damian Lillard.
All of the family got paper. We from the land of the Raiders.
Steph Curry.
Outpost might be open later.
Kevin Durant. And oh wait, LeBron James was featured on that song too.
No chance to make it out. That's what they said. But look at me, I'm here. Boss of the spread.
Now his on-court play lately has been shaky as hell, and he's had hella inconsistency. What's funny is that in the last rookie progress video that I made, bro, he was not looking that hot. And right after I made that video, he was going crazy, as if he saw that video and took it personally on the MJ tip. For 10 straight games, he averaged 18 on great efficiency, and then all of a sudden he fell off a cliff and couldn't hit much, and averaged 14 on 30% from the field during his next 7 games. So inconsistent, but hey, I'm not gonna worry. He will hit his stride, and I cannot see him being this inconsistent in not only his whole career, but for the rest of his rookie season. I expect him to have a much better second half. Speaking of inconsistent, a lot of people had already made up their mind as to what type of player LaMelo Ball was gonna be. The most popular comparison for him was Jason Kidd and Ricky effing Rubio. That couldn't be any more wrong. LaMelo just simply hits different. He shoots differently, passes the ball in the most unique ways possible too. It just felt like a lot of people were praying for LaMelo's downfall and wanted him to flop for some very odd and weird reason. I encourage you to go ahead and check out my second channel because I posted a reaction video to some people calling LaMelo Ball a bust way before he, played his first NBA game. That is the perfect example right there. In that video right there, I discovered the reason why a lot of people didn't want him to succeed. It was because he was a popular kid and had so much attention at an early age. These grown folks were over here hating on him for non-basketball reasons, and that is truly weirdo activity. The most disturbing lie told about him was that his game wouldn't translate into the NBA. Saying that just makes my tummy turn, dog. It makes zero sense. 2 to 3 months into his NBA career, he's been averaging 21, 6, and 7 on 46% shooting from the field, 43 from 3, and 86 from the line, which has been super surprising for me because I have been on record on saying that I'm worried about his shooting ability strictly because of his free throw percentage. Now he's not perfect, he does need to work on getting to the line in the first place, but 86%, bro, I'll take that any day. He's been averaging that as a starter. He is special, and I know these movie critics who turned into this movie LaMelo Ball stars in are super sick. Another disturbing lie that was told about the 2020 NBA draft was about Chicago Bulls forward Patrick Williams. Bro, he was the laughingstock. No, not him. The Bulls specifically were the laughingstock of that night because it seemed like they pulled a 2015 New York Knicks when it came to the Knicks drafting a nobody, Porzingis at the time, and Porzingis ended up being really good. And it looks like Patrick Williams could be a pretty good, respectable, and super solid NBA player too. I was on record literally making fun of every Chicago Bull fan that I know. Really, I just know one personally, and that's Rusty Buckets. I FaceTimed him and I made fun of him, and I was like, yo, if your name is Patrick and you get drafted top 4 into the NBA draft, like excluding Patrick Ewing, of course, you can do anything in life. You can do anything in life. And I just basically memed him out on my channel, and like I had thumbnails, I made thumbnails like this, and so many other people did too. I didn't know much about Patrick Williams at the time, and that was my ignorance speaking at that moment. I didn't bother to do any research about him or watch any film at all before I went ahead and let these jokes fly. What I should have known about Patrick Williams though was that back in high school, he was a great scorer, but in college, he was a bench player, and also he was set to play a certain role, and he went there to go play defense and make him more of a balanced player. Those are just some of the biggest and most popular lies told about the 2020 NBA draft. This is a quality draft and not anything to just skim over. Just know that so many players out of this class will end up saving your franchise's life in one way or another. Oh, and to answer the beginning of this video's question, NBA draft classes are only as strong as the leaders of them are. True or false? That right there is very false. The 2014 NBA draft class, do you remember who was drafted number 1 and 2? The biggest disappointments were Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker, which I'm making a video on sometime soon. That draft was hella deep. Joel Embiid was drafted that year, and in the second round, Nikola Jokic was drafted as well. Zach LaVine was in that draft, and also Marcus Smart, so that is very false. And also Jordan Clarkson too, bro. That draft was nice. But just know that the leaders in that draft don't set the tone at all. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my channel and seeing what I have to talk about today. If you watched my second video, or I don't know, I'm probably posting 2 videos today to be honest, but if you saw my serious YouTube video, go ahead and do your thing on this video. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that. Nothing but good vibes here. I'm gonna get back up there. I'm doing my thing, and I hope you do yours too. Make sure you make your day great. Until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it free the way, told my girl who'd ever